Hello. Are we
Hi.
back? Hi, we're back. Okay, welcome back. This is Voice of Hong Kong, where we speak to the world from Hong Kong. So this is segment two of our meeting with Rex from the Learning Center. Sorry, we didn't mention that in the last
Right.
segment, but here we are. So let's continue where we left off. We were talking about what your approach to learning is, and you said that you start out with observation and then you move on to different media to kind of show that kind of skill set, and you build on the skill set basically is your core idea is observing the world around you, and how you were explaining to us how you do that. So I'll let you continue. And
All right. Hi, everyone. So I would like to share with our audience about the things I approach to my students. All right. Since I was raised in Taiwan, and I started to learn painting when I was about 8 or 9. I kind of a little bit forgot that period. But I can freshly um, remember that my instructor, which is the host of my learning, my teacher, right? He the way he taught us is to, for example, if you wanna, if he asked me to if he asks all the students to draw one thing, which is the moving stuff, which, for example, and a chicken, right? He will physically put a live chicken on the table and
oh,
let
really?
he will, yes, this way he did. He will ask, okay, for example, give he allows, I remember, like 15 minutes, right? He will ask all the students to see how the chicken walk, and how the chicken have his own food, and even do some uh, satiating things. So he would let the chicken do whatever he likes, and the student can use use that 15 minutes to interact with the chicken. So,
That
and
sounds
what
like fun.
it is
As a
fun.
nine-year-old kid that's never been around a farm, that must have been interesting to be able to be near a chicken.
Right, right. Since the society is changing back to that age, well, if you have a a a a, a live chicken in front of your eyes, maybe for example, those girls will feel scary, but the guy, those little boys will feel excited to touch, to feel the chicken. Once they
Right, right, and that might be reflected in their observations in their artwork.
Right, this the for the feeling, the touch and the texture that our host temper mentioned, because the fur on the chicken is different from human being.
Right,
Right, so they will feel differently. And once they finish the 15 minutes, all right, the teacher asks us to sit back and start to draw on a blank paper. And every single one will have different imagination or creation put on their own paper,
right,
right?
right.
To work on it. Once they work on it for like half an hour or 1 hour, the teacher will gather the artworks and talk to each other in front of the class. So every single kid, every single student will know. For example, John will know how Mary does, and Mary will knows the Jeremy, how Jeremy does.
Right,
Every,
right.
is or learn, oh, maybe your chicken look like that, different from my chicken.
How did you
Oh,
do that, or why did you do that, or
why? Yeah, that's a very fantastic way. And kids, I mean, students can learn from others, can learn from each other. Maybe it was the other chicken will have, oh, no, I think my chicken will be purple. Why, who
right?
say the chicken supposed to be yellow? There's no guideline for applying the color.
Right, right. Even in the wild, they come in a variety of colors. So,
Right. No, I like my chicken will be the rainbow color. Who say no? Who
right.
no one can refuse. No one can limit my color.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
This,
yeah, for sure.
this is the way. But okay, I one of the things I would like to do, or which I do all the time, is to reinforce the skill of presentation. Right. No matter how the drawing be, okay, the kids will have their own presentation. Will have like I just did. They will debate. They will have some debate. They will have some critiques. They will defend themselves. They will try to, I mean, offend some others. They say,
Right.
oh, why your chicken has so big of eyes? Why the chicken has three legs? Why the chicken cannot fly? I want my chicken to, I mean, swim inside the sea, in the sea.
Right.
I want my chicken will be like a jet. Right. They will have a lot of things that their parent as an adult couldn't imagine. So the mission, or I would say the mission or the purpose, I would like to teach art in Hong Kong, because in Hong Kong there are too many. The society, the education has too much limitation.
Right.
They have a lot of template for guidelines for making anything. Most I could say, most things I would say. For example, you have to do this, you have to do that. If you're not doing this, your neighbor will say something to you. If you're not being good, your teacher will call me, some blah blah blah. Of course, um, live within the guideline, or some live inside the border might be safe, but
Right.
in the same time, it also eliminating our creativities.
I think in talking to you privately, we talked about this a little bit, but like, we give the example of the chicken and observation. Some people, they're going to draw a mirror image of that chicken. They're going to take a photographic memory of that chicken in their head, and they're going to try to recreate that chicken as it appears in real life. And I think what I'm hearing from you is that in Hong Kong, at least socially and scholastically, there's this premise that you have to be able to draw a mirror image of that chicken, and it has to look exactly like a chicken. And your approach is that can look like whatever you want. You can put your hand on the thing and do an outline of your fingers and draw some legs on it and make it into a chicken, and that's your interpretation of what you saw for 15 minutes of that chicken, and that is okay, as long as it's your personal observation and your personal fingerprint, if you will, on the art world. Then that's your kind of like, then that's your contribution, and that's enough. It doesn't have to be a mirror image and you have 30 students in the class and they all draw a mirror image of exactly the Mona Lisa, exactly the chicken, exactly the ball and round thing and cylinder and cone, and right.
You know what?
So we only we only have about 5 minutes left, but go ahead and in closing, let me know what else you want to explain to parents that might be watching this show that might find this interesting.
All right. Some parents came to me and asked me, Teacher Rex, how can my kid improve his drawing technique?
Techniques,
Well, techniques. Well,
not
it
only
depends
observation, but now techniques. Right.
on techniques, right? Because well, most most of parents they want their kid to gain the technique instead of some other things. For example, I don't know, but techniques are. I think some parents look more importantly
Right.
about
They
learning.
want that mirror image of the chicken rather than the hand on the paper and the interpretation of a chicken.
Right, they want the parent. That I would say very a little bit mean because that is the adult version of making chicken, not the
Right.
kids version.
Hong Kong parents might come to you and say, hey, instead of bringing a live chicken into the room, can you bring 15 different pictures of chickens and let my kid pick one and copy it?
Some I did have one parent, one mom came to me. Right, can I just she physically showed me a template or
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
an
Oh my
art
goodness.
gravity book, something like. I want my boy draw exactly like this. Can he do this? Can you help him to do this? I reply her that of course I will help him to do this, but it's not well enough for him. It's not his things. This is for you, not for him. Right? You
Yeah,
want
right,
it
right.
to
Even if he draws this, it might only be his interpretation of this thing. It may never be to the standard that her interpretation of this thing.
right. So technique, I would say, of course, I taught technique way back to when I was in the U.S. Of course, but it depends. It also depends on the age of students, right? The age of student. Like if you're teaching a 4 years old kid, he has no techniques
Right,
at all,
right,
right?
right.
But you teach if your
I
student
learned that I learned that in my psychology class. Like at a certain age, children actually can physically learn how to draw a three-dimensional object. So I mean, if you have to wait until that point, then, if they're bringing you a 2-year-old and they can't actually draw a three-dimensional object, it's more like you can't teach them certain things because they
I
can't comprehend those.
most likely I will teach I will tell those parents who came to me things cannot be hurried because he had your kids have your son has to accumulate a lot of things in order to achieve to certain level. You cannot learn like 5 months of or 1 year and your boy can be an animator.
Right, right, right. Okay, you have about 45 seconds left. What do you want to say to people listening today?
Well, all right. I think we need to encourage our kids to have no limit of imagination. Also, learning art cannot be waited. They have to start when the baby and I would say from for at least 4 years old.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And we will discuss this at length and further shows, I'm sure. Um, Let me know what you guys thought about this segmented format versus the long form format. Let me know if you want to hear Rex's own show. He's thinking about considering starting his own show. So let me know if you want to hear more from him personally. And like us, share us,
Follow us.
follow us. And I think that's it. We gotta cut you off. And
There's a bell. There's a ring bell. Just don't forget to click on it.
okay, bye bye.
Bye then.